Cinemateque, adjacent to the Old City of Jerusalem on the evening of April 2nd, played host to 8 politicians running for positions in Israel's Knesset and 2 social activists. The Center for Near East Policy Research has been fighting in the Knesset and other world platforms to show the world that UNRWA and Hamas facilitate the prolonging of Arab suffering in East Jerusalem, the West Bank, and Gaza. David Bedein, director of the Center for Near East Policy Research, opened the event by showing the audience recent findings that the center uncovered, illustrating the current issues.
UNRWA does not make those school books. The Palestinian Authority makes the school books. UNRWA does not report to the United Nations, it reports to the donor countries. Every donor country can decide whether or not to fund UNRWA or their education. I have outside here, the pink, if you can hold it up, the book where Dalal al-Mughrabi, who murdered 38 people, a brand new school book brought into the PA school system and UNRWA school system.
The panel members began by making a clear separation between the Palestinian people and the Palestinian government.
And the question is, how do you widen the gap between Hamas and the population in Gaza? And the way to widen the gap between Hamas and the population in Gaza is to improve the humanitarian situation of the population so they will have something to lose, and then things might change.
Those guys that we see going week after week or night after night to the fence to create problems and terrorism, those guys are not doing it because they are hungry. The hungry people go in the streets and do riots against Hamas. The people of Gaza, keep in mind, they are our neighbors.
Yes.
They are not our enemies.
No.
Their leaders, the terrorists there are our enemies.
From across the political spectrum, panel members agreed that the blame is clearly on UNRWA and Hamas.
Number 2, UNRWA is in fact supporting terror. I have 3 people that I knew from Aglan who were killed because they went into an UNRWA quote-unquote facility, a medical center, and it was actually a Hamas headquarters.
Regarding UNRWA, there's no question that UNRWA is a very bad organization. UNRWA is the only organization that passes the refugee status from father to son.
Our problem starts with the UN. I mean, this is the organization that sponsors UNRWA and other organizations that are there to help the Palestinians and basically want to destroy Israel.
The goal of the event was to find out what solutions future Israeli government officials had and to see where their respective parties stood. The panel brought out some varying solutions.
What Israel can do is, of course, through the United States, which has much more influence on the UN, convince what actually President Trump did, decide to stop the funding to UNRWA. We should make the situation that if today the Palestinians have one hand with a stick and the other with nothing, they will have in the beginning a small carrot and then a big carrot, and then they will decide which hand to use, the stick or the carrot.
We tried twice to have peace agreement with 2 nations, with 2 states, and it worked. With Egypt and with Jordan, it worked. We have to solve the problem by negotiations.
We should help the people. We shouldn't help a terror organization that on his charter wants to basically destroy the state of Israel.
The way of us helping the people live there, it's destroying Hamas. It's not we cannot give Hamas money. There is no way for us to reach the poor people. We can't just throw money from airplanes. It doesn't work that way. So we need to bring Hamas down in order to help the people there.
UNRWA should be shut down today. There is no point of having UNRWA. I'm going to put aside the fact that UNRWA supports terror and has incitement against Jews. UNRWA is the only case in the UN where you have a body that is assigned for one group of people, which is against the charter of the UN. UNRWA is the only body in the UN that the quote-unquote refugees is growing. All the other refugees in the world, about 30 million, the point is to resettle them. For UNRWA, they're not trying to resettle them, which is actually making the conflict never end. Even if you're right-wing, even if you're left-wing, and you want to solve this conflict, you need to shut down UNRWA.
It's clear that much needs to be done, and not everyone agrees how to do that.